Okay, now let's connect to some data in Tableau and start looking around and see what we got. In the demos of this module, there is a file you can download which is from a previous module in which we built up an Excel file for Cogsley services. So we're going to take that file and we're going to visualize it in Tableau during this module here. But first I want to open the Excel file just to explore it, and then I'll connect to it in Tableau so you can see how Tableau handles it. So here in the Cogsley Services sales data, what we have are several spreadsheets: sales, companies, managers, hourly wages, and price book. All of these have different data elements. The main one here being the sales one, which has the majority of my data with all the columns here that really make up a good solid data set for me to understand how sales are doing. The other tabs here have additional related data. Some of the data is also pulled in, but there are ways to bring that in and join it together. I'll show you how to do some of that in Tableau here in a second. But I just wanted to show you what we're looking at. So we're working with an Excel file. And there's nothing fancy here that is different than any other Excel file. And so when I go into Tableau and I connect to this, it's going to do some really interesting things. It's going to auto-categorize these fields, and it's going to try to understand the data types and do all kinds of things with them without me having to do anything. Tableau has this intuitive engine that does that for me, and that's one of the value adds here. So let's go pull this file into Tableau and see how it works. Here in Tableau, I'm going to click on Excel under my Connect options. I'm going to go browse to the workbook folder and find my Cogsley Services sales data. Hit open. And I'm in the Connect to Data window. This is where Tableau allows me to analyze my data. And I can do a lot here. There's probably more than I'm going to show you here that you can do. But you can see right off the bat what it did is it treated the workbook kind of as a database, and the sheets similar to how tables in a database are treated. And that makes a lot of sense because those things are relatively synonymous. Here I have the sales data set, and I can preview this by clicking the little viewer icon on the right. It'll load up to 10,000 rows at a time, and I can see what my data looks like. It has column headers, which is nice. It looks like it pulled all the data in the right spots. When I drag this on to my sheets here, where it says drag sheets here, you can see I get an automatic preview. There are icons here for numeric indicators and date icons for date indicators. Green and blue ones for ones it thinks that are aggregates or numbers that we're going to use in our analysis, versus the blue ones which it thinks are the categories or the context of our analysis. I can scroll all the way over and see that it picked the column headers, and it did a pretty good job here. Now at this stage, if I wanted to do something, I could rename these fields, I could hide them, I could add a description, which is really helpful if you're going to be sharing this with other people that want to use the same data set. If you share the description there, they'll understand what that field is. There's also something here called the data interpreter. This is a feature you can turn on in the latest version of Tableau that will do things like remove extra headers or extra footers, basically clean up an ugly spreadsheet into just a pure data source. Similarly, I can click on this icon here, the little hamburger, and manage my metadata. I can change the data types, I can look at the tables, I can do all this kind of stuff. So here is the preview of the data, here is my metadata manager, and once I've done that, I am ready to go. I could also add filters up at top, so if I wanted to say only show me a specific region, I could, or only a specific manager, I could filter on either of those. So in the Connect to Data icon, you have a lot. There's a lot going on here, and it's really important to understand that for when you afterwards build something, knowing where the data came from and anything that could have happened along the way. Once we've connected to our data, it's time to go look at it inside of Tableau. I'll click on Sheet 1 where it says Go to Worksheet, and here I am. I'm inside of Tableau. Tableau has connected to my data set, and on the left I can see that. I have dimensions on top and measures on the bottom. I like to think of measures as the subject of our analysis, sales amount, the rate, the quote, the quantity, and the dimensions, the context of our analysis. So sales amount by manager, sales amount by customer, sales amount by order date over time, for example. These are just two segmentations of how Tableau thinks of data elements, and they do impact how Tableau works with them and interacts with them. Notice these indicators here. There's even one for city, which means that this is a geographic property. It recognized the name, city, and it automatically geocoded it. So if I were to visualize this, I could do it by city on a map simply by clicking on this. Now recall, I didn't ever tell Tableau that that was a geographic property. Sometimes it guesses right, sometimes it guesses wrong. It's really simple to change and manipulate that. I can see all the fields I have here, and I can see all the measures. Now I can add other data sources as well. I'm not limited to just one, and if I had them, they would pop up just below this sales one here.